The Guardian reported on this story coming out of Israel. Israeli cartoonist fired over Animal Farm Netanyahu caricature. Prime Minister and allies drawn as pigs in magazine after passing law giving exclusive rights to Jews. An Israeli magazine has fired its long-serving cartoonist after he portrayed Benjamin Netanyahu and his allies as pigs from George Orwell's Animal Farm. The illustration referenced the Israeli Prime Minister and members of his party taking a congratulatory selfie after passing a contentious law in Parliament that has been decried as giving Jewish people more rights than the country's minorities. Avi Katz parodied the photo with a depiction of the politicians as characters from the 1945 novella in a cartoon for the Jerusalem Post, an Israeli English-language magazine owned by the Jerusalem Post newspaper. Quote, "All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others," the cartoon quoted from the book, which tells the story of farm animals revolting against their human owners, but swiftly falling into authoritarianism. So, here's the cartoon here, and by the way, you'll never guess what they accuse this guy of. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1, anti-Semitism. So they go, "Oh my goodness, how dare you? You compared them to pigs. Obviously, you're an anti-Semite." The response is, no, I was making a very clear point that, this is literally Orwellian. This is like the definition of Orwellian. And that's why you have this comparison being made that as they pretend, like, oh, we believe in equality, they're passing laws that codify apartheid. I mean, this law that they're talking about says we need more Jewish-only enclaves in Israel. What? Okay, so you want apartheid? That's what that is. Like, yeah, we're just going to separate everybody, but it's okay because we believe in equality. Oh, so you mean like it's separate but equal? Where have I heard that before? So when you point out the obvious and they have no rebuttal, they smear. That's what this is. We discuss this every day. When there is no real counter-argument, they obfuscate and smear. So that's what's happening. Obfuscation and smearing. We don't have a response, so you hate all Jews. What? He doesn't hate all Jews. His name is Avi Katz. Pretty sure he's a Jew. So that doesn't mean, okay, you can't be, like an Uncle Tom Jew, I guess, but this is not... He's making a clear political point. He's Jewish, but he also doesn't support apartheid. Seems pretty straightforward, but no. How dare you say what you said and point out the obvious and caricature us? So, here comes the main course. I hope everybody's sitting down. Where are the free speech warriors? Firing somebody for satire, for a satirical yet substantive political cartoon, which, by the way, makes a totally correct point about what's happening in Israel. Where are the free speech warriors? Because again, remember, even if you don't agree, you should be defending this guy and saying, hey, really? You're going to fire him for that? Seems a little extreme. Now, every single time there's an instance of some left-winger going too far, censoring somebody, deplatforming somebody, I see about 312 articles on any given instance of it, where they say, this political correctness has gone too far, this is a scourge of snowflakeism. But when it comes to an instance where it's the opposite direction, and it's people on the right silencing people on the left and using the same kind of authoritarian tactics and being very hostile to free speech and a free press, nobody says anything. And they act like it's uniquely a left-wing issue where, the left-wingers are hostile to free speech and the right-wingers are not. Well, how do you describe this? How do you explain this? What's this? What's this? What's the other instance we covered where there's a newspaper in the U.S. where a paper fired a longtime cartoonist, very similar to this instance, because he kept being critical of the right wing and Trump. And guess what? That newspaper had recently been taken over by a pro-Trump executive. So they censor people on the left, nobody says anything. Ever. We're one of maybe 3 outlets at most that will even mention it. So, if you're against snowflakes, be against them across the board. If you're for free speech, be for it across the board. My guess is this won't generate the same kind of outrage.